A quick look today at the NOA E1 4.5-inch smartphone. I'll show you what you get included. There's a screen protector there, the handset and manual. You also get a Euro USB charging adapter here, and there is a headset supplied, the 3.5mm jack, and it has an inline microphone too. This is the flat style micro USB charging cable, quite nice quality, and it has smaller than normal connectors for the main USB port. Looking at the back, specifications very much standard for this price range. We're in a budget here, so it's 1 gig RAM and 8 gig storage. You do have Bluetooth, and it's a 4G handset. Back cover off, we have the removable battery, and there are 2 micro size SIM card slots. At the top we have a camera, and we have a flash next to that. Case is plastic, although it feels reasonably well built. It doesn't feel fragile or creaky or anything like that. The back cover is a light plastic too. Here we have the microphone at the bottom and micro USB charging port, and on the side the 2 controls here for volume and power with the 3.5mm jack at the top. The rest of the case is clear. Thickness of the case is just over 1 centimetre. At the bottom we have the touch capacitive buttons, and once you boot up you're greeted with a relatively stock appearance on Android. This is Android 5.1, so it's reasonably up to date, not the latest version. They have their own sort of wallpaper and things, but it's the same icons as the normal version. You notice this has a screen protector pre-fitted, and there is a front camera on this. There's no flash on the front or a notification light. Dropping down, very much standard again for the menu here. You don't have hot knot or anything like that, but you do have Bluetooth. Once you start looking into the menus, you'll see it's again very much a stock experience with Android. There's no additional extra features included. On the other hand, it does the job perfectly fine regarding that. You do have a few smart wake options which are included with the operating system. I personally use the double tap to start the screen rather than having to press the power button, and you have a few other options there to open apps as well. You have about 4 GB storage left out of the box after you've booted it up without installing anything else on the handset. Moving to some benchmarks now. I ran Geekbench 3 and it did quite well, just under 1400. We have a quad core MediaTek MTK6735M, so that's in line with expectations, and it's probably a bit better than some of the budget handsets that I've looked at, only slightly, but it's fairly good day-to-day performance on this. Here we're comparing it to other handsets. Obviously need to look further down the list. It's fairly competitive regards to processor performance. I don't think anyone's going to have any problems using the phone. Running a few 3D benchmarks. I played a few games as well. Thanks to the 4.5-inch screen, which is 244 pixels per inch, basically means you have less pixels to move, so the graphics processor doesn't have to work as hard. So we've got better frame rates on this than some of the 720p handsets that I've looked at. So in terms of gaming in 3D, not going to be disappointed with this. It certainly does a pretty good job, and I didn't have any major problems with any of the games that I tried playing the handset. So a thumbs up on that side of things with the graphics. Looking at the camera, we come to one of the weaker points of the phone. If we zoom in a bit here, we can see details are okay, but we have some chromatic aberration, purple fringing on the highlight areas. And it's not just at the edge of the frame as well, it sort of extends further into the images. You can see, we'll zoom into this car here, you can see around the bonnet and top of the roof we have some purple fringing on that too. There's something that could be taken out in software. It's not uncommon, it's just a bit stronger than I would expect on any sort of camera phone. So fine for sort of social snapping, but not really much else. This does 720p video. Zooming in here, inside, did an okay job on the exposure. Looks a bit mushy, but it's acceptable for a phone of this price range. Having a look at the IPS panel now, we have 960 by 540, and the viewing angles are good, as all IPS panels are. There's no real complaints with the screen, not quite as sharp as the 720p ones, but it's pretty good. There's a plastic cover on that, not glass. Battery, 3000 milliamps now is very good capacity, especially for a 4.5-inch handset, which means that you'll be getting, I would imagine, at least 2 days out of this. I got 2 days easily and using it quite a bit, and that was during testing. You might get a bit extra if you're a light user. Quick summary from me with the NOA. A couple of strong obvious points. It's a pretty good offering for a 4G handset in this price range. It doesn't have any extra frills included, but it does the job pretty well on most fronts, and the 3D performance was also good. You can't really complain about that. 8 gig and 1 gig for the storage and RAM is basically what you're going to get at this price range. But playing games and day-to-day use, it's a pretty good little handset, no problems at all. Weaker points would be the camera. That's not particularly good with the chromatic aberration problem. If you're not a heavy camera user, it's not going to bother you probably that much, but if you are, you probably want to look at a different sort of handset. But if you're looking for a budget, smaller handset, you don't want a bigger handset, you find 5 or 5.5 inch too much, then this is certainly worthy of giving a bit more consideration to.